Hello. Welcome to The Inner Verdict. I'm your host, Jerry Pope Jr., and this is going to be a little different. I'm going to step outside the box on this one. Um, I'm going to go in a different direction because I want to start getting into more of the self reflection, the self awareness, and some of the issues that we face not really examining self awareness. So again, this is the inner verdict. Like, comment, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got other episodes from the Legacy series I did on men, mindset, and meaning. So I'm gonna take a different approach with this one. So hopefully y'all can rock with me on this. The title is Self-Aware Isn't Enough. Why insight without action quietly erodes self-trust. So we're gonna get into it. Most people don't lack self awareness, they lack the follow through. Like they know what's wrong, they know what they feel, they know what they should change, and yet nothing moves. Not because they're incapable, but because awareness has become a place they live instead of a place they just pass through. This episode isn't, it's not about learning more about yourself, but it's about what happens when self awareness stops being a tool and quietly becomes an excuse. So I want to talk about naming the pattern. There's a pattern I see over and over again. People who can articulate their struggles perfectly, but they just can't seem to act on what they already understand. Now, you might say, you know why you react the way you do, you know where the doubt comes from, you know the childhood pattern that trigger the fear. You may know all of that. You'll say you've done the work, at least intellectually, but insight hasn't changed your behavior. You can know about it, you can be aware of that, but it doesn't change anything. Your behaviors still stay the same. And that's not growth. That's a stall. That's you stalling out. Self awareness is never meant to be a destination, it's a doorway. And too many people are standing in the doorway congratulating themselves for noticing the room instead of walking into it. So the misinterpretation somewhere along the line, we were taught something subtle and dangerous. That understanding yourself deeply is the same as changing yourself. That's not the same. You just understand yourself, but you're not doing anything to change how you move, how you think, how you react. It's just not the same. Awareness feels productive because it's clean, it's safe. There's no risk in insight, no embarrassment, no exposure, because it's self-aware. You realize how you act, you realize how you respond, you realize that you're aware of all the negative behaviors. Not saying nobody else knows, but if you know all of this, why do you continue to move the way you do? Because it's easy for you to name the problem without even confronting it. Awareness without action creates the illusion of progress. So you can be aware of all of your negative behaviors, but if you don't do anything to change, you just knowing them is just an illusion. There's no progress. There's no drive. There's no ambition to do better, to be better. And illusions are very comfortable, very comfortable. They let you feel evolved without staying, without having to change, and you stay the same. You stay exactly the same because you have the illusion that, yeah, I know what they are. You can tell people that you're going to do better, that you're going to change your behaviors. So it just sounds good to you, but you don't change. You stay the same. And there's a cost associated with it, with being self aware that nobody talks about. And the part people don't talk about is every time you understand something about yourself and don't act on it, you lose a little trust in yourself every time. And it's not, it's, you lose it like consciously, but you lose it quietly. And I'll explain. You teach your mind that insight doesn't require movement. As long as you know what it is, you don't have to change it. Because a lot of times we have this illusion that knowing what our behaviors are. It's not affecting me. It's not hurting me, but it hurts the others around you. So you teach your mind that just because you're aware and you have insight of all of the negative behaviors and actions that you have, you feel like, okay, well, I know it, but you're not required to move. And eventually, even real clarity stops, like it just stops carrying weight. Because you can have all the mental clarity in the world, but it means nothing if you're not making adjustments. That's how self doubt grows in people who are actually self aware. Not because they don't know better, but because they've trained themselves to not respond to what they know. So the verdict is a lot of truth that most people avoid. Self awareness without action is fear, better language. It's fear of being wrong. It's fear of commitment. It's fear of standing behind a decision without a safety net. Here's what I mean. Insight, not bravery. Action is. This is not advice, it's a standard. From this point forward, here's a rule worth living by. If you can name it, you're responsible for responding to it. Awareness is a responsibility, not a personal trait. Being self aware is a responsibility of yours. It's not just something that you carry around like a badge of honor. The moment you see something clearly, your only question is whether you're willing to carry the weight of that. Are you really willing to carry the weight of the clarity? Yeah, I really think if you really want to carry this huge of all of this clarity that you have, and you're not taking any action to become a better person, you're okay with just going through life knowing that you're hurting other people and eventually hurting yourself. And you're okay walking through life without making any changes, especially when it pertains to your significant other. Because a lot of times they will bring things to your attention. And you're aware, you know what you do, you know what you say. But also, in a conversation I had recently, it's a lot of childhood patterns and traits that we as adults carry around. And we're quick to say, oh, that's just the way I am. But you hate for someone to point it out to you because then that would require you to be accountable. It will require you to change. It will require you to do something outside of your comfort. Okay, at some point, self awareness stops being growth, it becomes avoidance. You avoid what you're already aware of because you fear change. You've gotten so used to being in the same mindset and pattern for almost your entire life. Only you know where you cross the line. You know when you cross the line. You know when you cross the line and you know where you cross the line. Really think about that because you know what line you crossed. You already know it. When you say certain things and you do certain things towards the people you love, sometimes even yourself, you know when you've gone too far. This is the inner verdict. And the question is no longer what you know, it's what you're willing to stand behind.